What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Clubhouse. We hope you all had a great weekend. Brooke, JP, Clay hanging out with us in studio. Guys, I know the Combine was all weekend long, and because you guys are sickos when it comes to watching football, how much football did you really watch?
Clay?
I watched a lot. You know, JP, back in my Combine days, you know, I had a 40-inch vertical, 30 reps on the bench, 10-5 broad. So I like to watch and still compare if I still got it. But these guys were fast, man. This is a fast, athletic group of guys, and I think it's deeper than a lot of us thought as far as this draft class goes.
Yeah, a lot of fast guys. Like, speed is the key here. Unfortunately, I watched it from Thursday. Friday, watched it when I got home. Saturday, I watched it all day. The only day I didn't watch, and sorry to the big guys, was yesterday, but I did catch some of the coverage there. So it's nasty work.
Did you make Maddie watch it with you? That's
I did.
What I want to know.
And I'll tell a funny story. Here's a good Maddie story for you. We're watching the Combine, and this guy is running, and he's got a big old chain on. And my wife goes, well, I bet you would have run faster if you didn't have that big chain on. And then the dude, like, directly after him was, like, blazing fast. And Maddie was like, see, told you. So
I mean,
there
she
we go.
brings up a good point. It weighs you down a little bit.
Yeah.
Those chains are heavy.
There's a lot of guys with a lot of jewelry nowadays, especially with that NIL money. They got it coming into the league.
Oh,
but
yeah.
Today is a Monday, and on Mondays we like to do our snap judgments. Now, Clay, this is a little bit new for you, so we'll take you through it. Typically, the way it goes is you give a statement, right? The Clubhouse, the greatest show on TV. We snap. And then you give your explanation why. So, Clay, if you'd like to start us off here, what you got?
We got Tyler Owens that had a 12-foot broad jump. We got Xavier Worthy that ran a 4.2 140. But to me, the most important thing that happened was from Caleb Williams, and he didn't even compete. He didn't even do the medicals. He didn't run. He didn't throw. But what he did do is he measured in, and he showed that he is 6'1" legit. He's not Bryce Young last year, saying he's 6'1", measuring in at 5'10". He showed he's got big hands. He weighs 215 pounds. Guess who else weighed 215 pounds and was 6'1", 6'2"? Aaron Rodgers, Steve Young, Drew Brees, 6'1", 215. Bigger hands than Patrick Mahomes. All those fumbles, 31 fumbles in 33 games. It's a lot of fumbles. Okay, now you're saying he has big hands. He can hold on to the football. So to me, that was very important. He can see over the line. He's got comps like Patrick Mahomes and Aaron Rodgers. To me, that was very important. Now it goes to his pro days for obviously the medicals, but it shows me this guy's got the size to be the quarterback.
It's an interesting thing because I think that checks one of the boxes. I felt like Caleb Williams competing at the Combine was never going to be the thing that assured me of the questions that I had about him on tape, whereas you could get there with some of the other guys in this draft class, and that's where I'm going with my snap judgment. I felt like after watching the Combine, I had more questions about this quarterback draft class than answers. All right, so let's start off with Caleb Williams. Like I said, if he competed, whether or not that would have happened, does it really change my opinion? No, because he's a guy that I feel like doesn't play in system often enough. Anyway, that's something that I'm going to have to just project that we can teach him to play within the bounds of an offense. Then you get to Drake May, who a lot of people like as their second quarterback in this class. Drake May, I mean, the one thing he could have done was impress people by showing that he had more polished footwork, maybe a cleaner, more compact throwing motion than what he displayed on tape. We didn't get to see any of that. You got Jaden Daniels out there, like, would have loved to see him compete against some of these guys too. I think we all understand that he's really good, but there were questions about whether he had the true zip on the deep ball, whether he was able to force it into some tight windows, which you don't see, but you get to see all of the throws there. J.J. McCarthy, I thought he had a really good day throwing the football. That wasn't my question. He went ahead and gained some weight coming into the Combine, about 20 pounds. Didn't see him run a 40, though. So that begs the question, is that something?
He ran that 6'8",
is it something
cone?
that he is? Is he really 220, or is he going to be a 205 guy? And that's a question that I have now that I wasn't going to ask before. It's just really intriguing because it did nothing for me. Watching the quarterbacks this weekend did almost nothing for me.
And you would think as a quarterback, and we'll dive deeper into this, and we talked about it all last week, that, you know, Caleb Williams and some of those guys, because they're already going to be drafted as high as they're projected, that they don't need to really participate in the throwing part of the Combine there. But with a quarterback class so deep, you would think that they would want to probably participate in more events. What do you think?
There's nowhere to go but down if you're Caleb Williams. So in my opinion, why do you compete? There's only a couple teams that have a chance to draft you. Why are you going out there and doing medicals for 32 teams when there's going to be 2 teams that got a chance to draft you? Why are you competing out there with 2 teams when there's for 32 teams and there's 2 teams that got a chance to draft you. I understand the strategy of what they're doing. You go to a private workout, you go to the pro day, and you do things there on my time. You have a private workout with the Bears because those are the teams that got a chance to draft you. It's them. Look at my tape. I'm Heisman Trophy winner. I've done this throughout my career. I don't need to come here and compete with these guys. The guys that are the bottom level, the Michael Penix, the Bo Nix, the Spencer Rattlers, the J.J. McCarthy's, those are the guys that needed to compete and show where they stack up, not the Caleb Williams, not the Jaden Daniels.
Yeah, what happens when you're Caleb Williams is they say, okay, your arm is not as strong as Joe Milton's, but we know Joe Milton is not a great quarterback. They're going to say that your spiral is not as pretty as Michael Penix Jr., and there could be a debate about who you like there, but we figure that Caleb is a better quarterback. You don't have the zip on the ball that J.J. McCarthy has. This is what happens when you're Caleb Williams and you work out. But I would have liked to see the guy work out still.
Well, my snap judgment is going to kind of put a bow on this whole discussion here because the combine, it's changing. It's never going to be the same. You know, we talk about the quarterbacks. They're not participating in certain events here. We saw Marvin Harrison Jr. He kind of opted out of certain events as well. And so I think as we move into a new era of college football, we kind of saw it with the bowl games where it's more about you as an individual player, not really worried about, you know, everybody else or what's going on. And so I think it's bleeding into the combine there where it's like you have to worry about just yourself. I understand that you don't want to risk, like, you know, potentially, you know, not putting up like certain numbers and things like that could hinder where you're going to go in the draft. But I think, I don't know, I just think that we're going to see more of this. I think this was a very big moment for the combine here, and it's just going to continue as next seasons to come.
Yeah, I'm there with it. The top players are just not going to do it at all. I think a lot of players have really decided which testing numbers they want to do at the combine and what they'd rather say for pro day or skip overall, and I don't blame them. The NFL has all the data in the world right now, and they watch you play ball for at least, probably 2-3 years as a full-time starter, you're going to be fine.
Yeah, but for sickos like you, you're not going to be able to watch your favorite players in the combine.
It's going to bother me.
It's really unfortunate.